Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Mere Recap. Episode number, I forgot what episode it is, but you know what it is. It is week 7. We just wrapped out week 7 of MPL Indonesia. I'm here with Arashi. I'm here with Realize. And hopefully this time the microphones are all going to be good. I set it up so now we're not going to use the little pin mic, the mic that I usually pin, the one that I'm usually holding. That is what causes a lot of the echoes. And we'll have another mic for Arashi next week. So for this week, Arashi's just going to be here, sitting down, not doing anything. It's going to be me and Realize talking.
It's going to be the background.
Up, Arashi. You're not supposed to talk. They can't even hear you, man. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about because, damn, we got a lot of news. Starting with, by the way, we're just going to get straight into the topic here. Liquid ID being, like, they've revealed out of nowhere, out of the blue.
Yeah.
This is something that has never happened before in Indonesia, by the way. We've always had qualifiers. We've always had, like, player selections. We call it Selecnas. But this time, they just revealed it out of nowhere on Friday as we were about to cast for MPO Indonesia. And Liquid Indo will be our representatives for Indonesia for the upcoming SEA Games and I believe for ISF, but I'm not too sure about ISF. Right now, they've only announced it as the SEA Games lineup, the SEA Games roster. I'll get my take out, but I want to ask you first, Realize, since it seems like you are...
What is it?
Quite well, you're well versed in Liquid, in the knowledge, the arts of Liquid.
Ooh,
the Liquid arts.
I don't know. I'm not a Liquid insider, but I've been hearing a few words here and there. But to be honest, for this qualification, I have no idea as to why this roster was picked up. But if I could speculate, I feel like it's based on merit because they were the team that won MPL ID season 14, and they were the team that appeared in the M Series finals last year as well. So. Yeah, it sure raises some questions as to why there are no qualifications, because usually that is the case for every other, I'd say national events like the SEA Games or other stuff like ISF. But yeah, I think it's merit based, and as to why they are picked, no qualifications. That is still the main question mark that we have, I guess.
Right. For me, I really feel like the immediate question is, again, like, how did they decide, right? So regardless of who I think deserves to go, I feel like it's important that they actually get that information out. Because
transparency.
If they just go and say, hey, it's because of the merit on whatever, people are going to be like, okay, I can see that. But if they just announce it out of nowhere, then the immediate question is like, how?
Yep.
And then knowing, our country, a lot of people, I think, are going to immediately jump to like
conclusions.
Well, hang on a second. Is there a conspiracy? Is there some kind of nepotism politics going on? And that'll be a problem, right? Because I think it has to be something like that. It has to be like something merit-based. Because performance-based, they've been looking kind of shaky. I don't think anyone was really expecting them to be the reps immediately, looking at their current performance. So which is why for me the main question becomes, when did they even decide, right? How they decided regardless, when did they decide it? Because if my concern is that the process to select takes so long. They did it a while back, and only now is it actually like official, and at this point like the performance is different. So that would kind of highlight another like issue with like how our country like selects the players. Honestly, that'll be my take on it.
Yeah, I honestly think it's just weird. I think it's really, really weird. The fact that we don't have any national qualifiers. Usually, I think it's called the Hero Tournament. Usually, it's the Hero Tournament that we have in Indo, where we have some tier. Actually, it's open to everybody. The invited teams are obviously the MPL teams, but then it's open to everyone else. The third-party teams, the amateur teams, all the other teams are there. They can participate, they can qualify to the event, and then they'll have like a grand qualifiers. Whoever wins that, I think the top 2 goes to Selecnas, which is national selection, just like the SIBOL qualifiers that you guys have in the Philippines. I think we are taking a step back from what we have done before. Meanwhile, the Philippines, I think, are getting better at selecting their national team. In the past, they've always just gone for whoever wins the national qualifiers, right? They'll be the ones to represent the Philippines. In Indonesia, we went from all-stars, not even having tournaments, just a coach picking individual players and then like trialing them and then making a team. That was back in the Zace era, back in the Onyx era, season 3, back when season 4 it was I forgot the entire lineup, but I think it was mix of Onyx and EVOS, M1 EVOS at the time. Now, I don't like the fact that it's based on merit. And I'm not trying to say that I don't like it because I don't like Liquid, because I think Liquid are definitely up there. They, when it comes to if they deserve to represent, their players are very high quality. I would say all of their members, every single one on their team, deserves to represent Indonesia. But I don't like the fact that, I mean, if it's a fact that they just chose Team Liquid because of the merit, because they are MPLID champions. They were MPLID champions of the previous season.
Yeah.
I think it would make more sense, technically, for it to be this season. Because seasons change, teams change, their performance can dip, metas change. Right now, Liquid aren't doing the best in Indo. And they don't have to be doing the best. It's just, that's the question mark that I have. I still think, though, Indonesia has a very good, very, very good representative in Liquid ID. This is a team that, again, were rookies just last season. Not even last year, last season. They were rookies. These guys are very hungry. They're definitely going to have a lot more hunger now representing Indonesia. They're not going to be representing Liquid anymore. This is Indonesia, a whole nation, their nation behind their back. So I like the fact that they've gone for rookies this time around. That's the plus point of what I see from the Liquid roster. And especially considering their form has been back to normal.
Yep.
I like it. Yeah. It's just the fact that I don't like how the qualifiers are. It's not transparent at all. We just suddenly get the announcement, but I like the team. Luckily, we like the team here. Liquid ID. Yeah, I think a lot of people in the comment section have been saying, like, okay, but how is this team going to fare against the Filipino roster? That's what I'm thinking too. Because I'm sorry to all the other regions, but right now, as an Indonesian, I'm thinking about the Philippines. The Philippines is the team to beat. Indo is always second, third last time in ISF, but in SEA Games we're always second to. Well, yeah, we got grouped last time in SEA Games, so I can't talk about that really. But usually we're always second to the Philippines. Okay, and in this case with Liquid in against that lineup of Philippines, I guess that's the next talking point here. What do we think about our chances to get gold in the SEA Games?
I don't know. I do hope these youngsters are not pressured. I mean, they've been in the M6 finals. I don't think pressure is gonna be a focal point of them. But I think it'll be. I think it'll hit different because this time they'll be representing the nation, and like when an entire nation is behind your backs, you know how harsh people can be when you underperform. So I do hope they don't get their nerves struck by that. But as of the chances of getting gold, I think it's too early to tell. I still think there is a chance, but yeah, PH is just way too strong, man. I don't know.
I feel like it goes back to that discussion we had last week, I think, when we were talking about, is it better to get a team with synergy already? Just select a team that's good, that's representing your country, or is it better to go for these to pick and choose the best from different teams? So I don't think I'm alone in assuming that there is some value in taking a team with already built-in synergy. That's one of the most difficult things to kind of work on, right? Technically. So there's a great possibility that the Philippines, if they're that confident and picking up this all-star, quote-unquote all-star kind of team, that they have that guarantee. They feel like it's a done deal when it comes to the synergy. But yeah, I feel like that situation is gonna prove that theory, right? Because again, Team Liquid ain't doing so hot. If for some reason they're able to actually get it done against the All-Star PH, I think that's technically evidence that, hey, see, synergy is a bit more important than just the individual prowess of each player. So that's what I'm curious to see. Whether or not they can win, yeah, I don't know, man. Again, because they're kind of improving in MPL ID, but who knows, right? Again, it's a different tournament, it's a different kind of system, it's a new experience as well, because MDL is different, MPL is different, SEA Games is different, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I feel like that's the main thing that will come out of it. It's the whole synergy versus individual talent discussion.
Yeah. For me, obviously, when it comes to just sheer mechanical skill, when it comes to power, looking at that all-star lineup of the Philippines, it does look like mechanically it's going to be a challenge. It's a big, big challenge. We have by the way, shout out to Fabian, because for some reason when we made our Indonesian full team, we forgot about Fabian. We're talking about May Kids, Anava, Albert. We completely forgot about the guy who just takes the cake when it comes to the jungle. Fabian is a ridiculous jungler, and I think there's another positive point of taking a team like Liquid. Yeah, a team that's not number one currently. I think there's a plus point in that, where a lot of teams usually, especially preparing for MSC, they'll be looking at RRQ. They'll be looking at maybe even GeekFam, the top two teams. Liquid is going under the radar. Most people who just watch MPLID from time to time, they still think Aaron Shiki is Aaron Shaky. They still think Aaron is playing the way he did in the first 3 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, he's been incredible. He's been back to form, I would say. So thank you to Aaron Shiki's girlfriend, or to Aaron Shiki for breaking that up, because I think a lot of people were assuming that was the problem. That was the reason behind the dip in performance.
And they broke up.
And usually that's the case, guys. I'm not trying to blame the girlfriend here, but usually Indonesian players don't do well when they're in a relationship. They dip hard. Like, I don't know what it is. Indonesians just cannot get girls, man. Like, in a way where they get girls and then their life goes down.
Zero pull.
Brother was about to lose his career to Kyo, right? Like, no, he's back. Aaron, I'm glad you're back, sir.
Yes,
I hope you stay out of these relationships for a while, because you don't need to commit to these relationships all the way, you know? Like, you got to get a girl that understands and can support you, brother, man. Don't get a girl that forces you to hang out instead of scrim or practice. This is to all the Indonesian players, by the way, not just Aaron Shiki. This is to all you guys back at home. Some life advice, all right? Don't let your girl control everything you do.
Life advice.
You're going to lose yourself, brother. Don't lose yourself.
Don't lose yourself.
To the music, the moment. You bet. Okay. So overall, I think we all agree that TL are not a bad roster. They're pretty good. I think because of that, I'm pretty happy with TL, and I think we have a solid chance at gold.
You do.
Again, I have no issue with TL, right? I still think they're not like a weak team by any stretch of imagination. And again, teams are doing better now, but like, again, when was the call made? You know, like, it can easily say now, like, oh yeah, look at the standings here. RRQ is so good right now. You know, Bigatron so much better than them right now. Onyx is doing great. Yeah, but who knows? You know, if the decision right to the selection is made a couple of weeks back before Coach Jeff was in the picture, then Onyx wouldn't even be in the conversation. But now they kind of are, right? So it's about timing with these things. So yeah, if they can actually stay focused, I still think that there's a chance. As always, Arashi is the guy who always goes, there's always a chance, you know, whether it's that's 5% or 50%, it's always a chance, right?
100%.
It's never over till it's over. So I think it's fair to entrust it to a team Liquid and give them support, because overall they're also a team that has adapted. They have a lot of like ways to achieve victory here. They got individual playmaking skills. They got good synergy. Their coach is also great. You know, it's not a coach that just hangs around, doesn't really provide much when it comes to the instructions, the drafting phase as well. He knows how to draft too, right? So I think overall it's solid. There's no glaring weakness. You can say that there's some maybe tendencies that can be exploited from each player, but overall there's no clear weakness. It's not like, oh, team look at ID, shut down the jungler and you're good. You know, no, not exactly, right? So I think I'm okay with that.
All good.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic, which is going to be the MLBB Super Cup International Invitational. Do you guys know about this?
Yeah.
It's like the cup that we saw in China, MLBB Super Cup Invitational. It's a Chinese tournament where they invited a lot of the top teams from around the world. Unfortunately, I don't think the top teams from the Philippines and Indonesia attended, because we have MPL Philippines and Indo going
EVOS,
on. We had EVOS, but it was like MDL EVOS with Psychots, and they got obliterated.
Holy. EVOS Holy.
Oh, it was EVOS Holy.
Yeah. Holy.
The grand finals was Team Spirit versus DFYG.
Mhm.
And they're playing in the China server, which, again, to clarify to you guys, is different from the global server.
Yeah.
They play a different version where they have a lot of different skills. They actually have a different set of heroes as well. They don't have our set of heroes.
Is it different or just less?
It's different. Like, even Zilong's ult is an anti-CC ult. Yeah. So there's a lot of big differences. And the FYG in the grand finals against Spirit lost to Spirit. Spirit swept them. A lot of people have been talking about this, and I think this is a question, by the way. So shout outs to Arpheus. Are we seeing a sneak peek of China's potential? While China's representative often disappoint at international stage, we can't overlook the fact that they don't have as much heroes as we have. Even the hero adjustments are different. This is why I gotta say, this is concerning now for China. The big excuse that I would give them every single time they underperform in an international tournament would be, yeah, they have to adapt to so many new heroes. They have to adapt to a whole entirely different game. Basically, it's a different game entirely when you have to learn new heroes. Their skills are different. You usually pick Freya and XP all the time in China. Now you can't do that in the international scene. But what's the excuse now? A team from Europe who's played our version of MLBB went over to China and beat them at their own MLBB 3-0, sweeping them in the finals. It's like, yikes. I don't know. At this point, I don't know. I think, is it just a macro diff? Is it because we've just been exposed to a different level of MLBB for the longest time? Like when it comes to macro, that we can overpower, not we, but like other regions and other top teams can can beat China. Because again, Team Spirit, they're not even number 1 in MCC currently. They're number 2 in the regular season. We'll see if they qualify later on. They're number 3 in the world. Number 3 is SRG from M6. If SRG were there, if Liquid were there, if Onyx Philippines were there,
Yikes.
would China even make it to the top 4 in their own server, in their own version of MLBB? So what does this mean about China? Are we seeing like is this just where China is right now? Do we need more time? Do you think, what are your thoughts?
I was tuning into the tournament for quite some time. I think it was Team Spirit as well. They picked up Esmeralda in the XP, and it really shows that there's a lot of customizations done to the heroes and to the skills. But I feel like in that regard, I do think giving them time again would just be another excuse because again, beaten in their own backyard. It was their server. Obviously, TS was the one who had to adjust to that server. But I feel like this year should be the year where they would break out because again, I think they'll learn from this loss. As for TS, I feel like they're more exposed to higher levels of MLBB. Like they've been in MSC, they've been in M Series as well a couple of times. For the Chinese teams, it's not the case. It's not a privilege that they have every day, every year. So I think MSC or M Series will be the reckoning. I think for these Chinese teams, if they still can't make it, then I guess it's just player diff. I guess because we know the player base in China, they prefer another type of mobile games. So I feel like that could be the case for the Chinese teams competing.
Well, did you actually watch the games, both of you?
I watched EVOS games
A bit. So did DFYG lose because they were like outdrafted?
They were out macro. They were
Outplayed, right?
The draft is weird because I don't know.
Right. I guess. So I was thinking, like, is it preferable to try and play on the China server without knowing what the outside is like? You know what I mean? Like, it's that argument where like, hey, if there's someone who's like living really poorly, is it better to let them stay there or give them a taste of the good life and then let them fall back down?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, which for Team Spirit there, knowing a different kind of Mobile Legends and then going into a Mobile Legends that's different but also a bit more limited, because I believe they have less heroes, right? A bit more limited. Does it give them an edge or does it give them a disadvantage? Because I feel like it kind of depends. It kind of goes both ways. I feel like it just gives them more experience, like more scenarios before where they're kind of like problem solving and looking for different options and all that. So that was my immediate thought while you guys were talking, and I still can't really like make a big decision. I have to like watch the games in detail. But again, if the draft wasn't the massive problem, it's like if you didn't see the game and immediately went like, oh dude, it's an outdraft, there's like actual macro difference and all that, then in that case, the draft doesn't matter quite as much because I feel like we talked about drafting a bit more in depth last week, I believe, because Coach Yep showed up, right? And he's showing that sometimes it's not just about like knowing the heroes, having the heroes specifically. It's just knowing how they kind of work, having a vision on how those heroes work together and all that. Because I feel like if you're at that level, like we were talking about with Yeb, even if let's say in the match against RRQ there was no X-Borg, there would be other things that can come to mind, that maybe won't be as good as the X-Borg. You get what I mean? So my point is, it's a long circle. I feel like it's not beyond imagination that Team Spirit would like be able to adapt like fast still to the tournament. So that being said, because of that, I really do feel like it might just be like a difference in interest, a difference in like intensity and all that. And if they really want to have a really good shot at beating some of these other regions, then they really should start looking into trying like boot camp like properly. And even though it's like, it feels so bad because we are forced to like seek out a different server from our own server, and we want to have our server also flourish and all that. Well, yeah, but the fact of the matter is, you're playing a different game, kind of technically, So I feel like boot camping is like the glaring like answer to that issue. And once they've tried that, they've gotten exposure and experience. Because you get both those things from boot camping, right? Then we can really talk about the difference in like player base. What do you call it? Like in human resources, because that's what they talked about. Like in the talent pool, right? If they've already had the experience and also the exposure to all these different things, and they're still really not doing so good, then we can point a finger towards the talent pool. But until then, I feel like that's something they really have to try and. May try and do, honestly, because it feels bad for them, but it's also tough for like everyone else, because I feel like we, as in like the fan base, the player base, want to know like for certain, right? We don't want to be speculating like, is it because Spirit is this, is it because the server is this? We want to know for a fact, like, are you guys actually that good? Are you guys actually facing struggles? Right? Is there a chance? Is it a time issue? And until we kind of even out the playing field, it's just hard to really have concrete answers. It's like trying to find a scientific, make a scientific study based on like two different like research pools. It's like, it's different. It's tough.
But can we say that the FYG was actually much more comfortable playing in the global server? Because I feel like they were making waves last year's wildcards, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like when I was watching wildcards too, I was like, holy shit, this team is really good. But is it because it was wildcard? Was it because the teams there are just not as good as the others because the wildcard teams did jack shit in M6. Like the wildcard teams in MSC did better. Homeboys was able to make it to top 8, which is very, very impressive. But in M6 they did nothing.
Yep.
Like Ulfednar, I expected him to do really good. They bombed out of groups I think it was 0-3. Was it 0-3 or 1-3? I think 1-3 or 0-3 in the Swiss stage. But yeah, that makes me think like, okay, it might be like they might have looked good because they were up against lesser competition. Yeah, I really hope it's not the case. I really hope, again, that they boot camp more seriously, because, dude, if you guys know, like I know, how much the players are getting paid there, especially like their imports, they got a lot of money. They are getting a lot of money. So I don't think boot camping is a problem for them. Maybe for a lot of EU orgs, a lot of the Turkish orgs even, they would struggle trying to boot camp for that long, right? Yeah. Because only some of their teams have actual sponsors, like Aurora for Turkey and then Spirit for EU. But all the other teams, I'm not too sure if they actually want to spend the budget. A lot of it boot camping in a Southeast Asian country with no help. Basically, they're coming in blind. They're like, holy shit, what? They might have never been to Southeast Asia. Food is very cheap, so if you guys want a boot camp, living cost is low. If you guys want recommendations on like Airbnbs and like where to stay, contact one of us on IG or email me. Something, just if you want info or help or anything about this, teams who are not sponsored, because teams who are sponsored, even if your team that is sponsored and you need help boot camping in Indo, let me know. I can help. I can help a bit, not setting up scrims, but just telling you where to stay, good internet providers, blah, blah, blah. But, all right, we'll see about China and MSC because we will have a wild card later and we will get to MSC. But now it's time to talk about EVOS.
EVOS.
Oh, my God. We're going to go on EVOS, the topic of EVOS again.
Plummet.
So, what's up with EVOS? Because we've gone on and on and on. Yeah, good timing to look back, Arashi, because this is the EVOS versus Liquid match that I'm playing in the back. Because this is the biggest match. Where do we even start? They are 7th, and they've established themselves at 7th for this week. Even with a win, they're not going to rise up. With 2 wins, they might not even rise up, considering the other teams get a win. At this point, EVOS will not only need to win their next 2 matches, but they're also going to have to hope that all the teams, or some of the teams, lose all their matches. This is odd evens. This is odd numbered EVOS season. This is odd season EVOS. This is the mythical creature that always makes it to MSC, that always does well. Now they're doing pretty shit. They did pretty well at the start, and they don't even have a scapegoat anymore. They used to have Age. They used to have Erlan. They used to have someone where they can always say, oh yeah, it's his fault. Get him out of here. Who's going to be the scapegoat now? And now it's a question of, you've gotten rid of all the scapegoats. What is the real problem? What's going on? Because this isn't even just a player thing anymore. This seems to be an org thing. Is the management fucking up?
Hey.
Are the players are they just unlucky with the players? Are they just unlucky with the coaching staff?
Yeah.
I honestly don't understand. I'll get to my thoughts on it, but I want to know your thoughts first.
By the way, MPL ID on Instagram have just released the percentage of the teams that are going to playoffs, and they put EVOS on 25%. So that's pretty low. And by the way, I think I have 2 points to make. Number 1, decide on your lineup, because they've been so indecisive. Now, like you see right here, 25%. EVOS so low on making the playoffs. By the way, back to my point. They need to decide on their main lineup, because they've been interchanging their marksmen, their gold laners. Yeah, one day, one week it could be Erlan, the next it could be Bronze, and then they've been also playing, XP, different players, but that was because Regi was getting married as well.
Right.
Natko was stepping in for him. But yeah, I think on the gold lane department, they need to really construct and just decide on which player they want to play. Because I feel like Brands last week, he was not good, but not bad either. He was playing a decent game as Bruno. When you're playing a Bruno, all you do is just sit back and scale for late game. But yeah, just they need to decide on their lineup, because different players means different calls, different approaches to the game. And I feel like they've been doing well with Adelan, so why not stick to him? And number 2, communication issues. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. Sway Low was getting tossed by Key up top towards the base.
It's a bait, bro. It's a bait.
It was a bait, but that could have ended their game. They were winning against Team Liquid.
I don't think it was a bait. it looked way too wonky to be an intentional bait.
And that could have just thrown the game for them. That could end the game, and Team Liquid would have won for the 2-0. And communication issues were just all over the place for them. And Sway Low, that Eve ult in front of the bush, I don't know what was happening. We tried to decipher what was happening. Were they trying to bait the enemies to come into them? But Sway Low just died for nothing right there. So that was the question that they that needs answers. And by the way, they were going back to their old style. We talked about this in desk. They were playing the Suyo Jawhead combo, which brought them so much success in the first early weeks of MPL ID. They went for that again in game number 2. They won.
They won, right?
Which is actually a good depiction of what EVOS needs, comfortability, and also a lineup that could snowball. Yeah, right there.
Bang.
What the hell is Swaylo doing? Reggie's too far to back him up. Brands can't really do much aside from kiting. And this was just questionable. We tried to decipher what they were doing, but look at that. Aaron Shiki was close. He was playing a Kimmy that could just burst down Swaylo. And yeah, I feel like EVOS are just not on the same page. At least that's my take on EVOS.
I mean, it really feels like they were talking about, by all means, okay, like the moments that really ended this game, I remember it being like, oh, someone's far out of position, they get chased down, they get taken out. So I understand the idea that you want to chase someone down with the Yeve, and the Yeve is really good at this, by the way, right? Long area slow that can hit for a period of time, good spells, an ulti that can immobilize as well. The thing is like, I don't know that, like, when have they last seen Team Liquid? I feel like it's a fair move if you know exactly where the team is. If you know like they're all topside, right? And this guy's alone, you want to start this so that Reggie can make a play. You want to start this so that Key can follow up. Cool. But the fact that he just went for it blind here with no pressure on the map, I feel like that's way too ambitious, man. So, yeah, I agree. This play was definitely a bit funky. And not to mention like the response. The moment he starts getting sprayed down, I understand you want to commit, but like, dang, dude. He got melted down immediately. So, yeah, absolutely interesting. I feel like for EVOS, the switch is one thing, but I feel like the switches, aside from just deciding who's better, right? I agree with Realize in a sense that you gotta pick, because now you're starting to get into territory where, okay, did we lose because the guy is just worse? Or did we lose because, again, there's so many things, there's differences in like between players and all that. The synergy is a problem. When the synergy is a problem, it kind of takes away like some of the mental capacity in game. Usually, I know, for instance, I know exactly how Mirko and Realize are gonna cast on desk. Again, the moment you change it to someone I don't know, there's gonna be some brain power allocated to try and figure that out on the fly, right? Same thing in game. Now with a new face, a new combination, a new whatever, right? Is that the issue? Is that less of the mental capacity available to work on decision making, to work on individual outplays and laning and all these complicated mechanics in the game, taken away towards adjusting to a new person? Not to mention, when you switch back and forth between the same person, if you keep changing between like two people, that's worse than just shifting towards one. You get what I mean? Because there's like, every time you play with someone, you develop some kind of like synergy. Yeah. All right? You probably won't be like, super on point immediately, but you get some. Like, you download the person. You get what I mean? Like, okay, I play with Brands. I know how he works kind of 10%. Right? And then, if you keep playing, eventually you get to like 60, you get to 70 something, and it's a good time, When that happens, right? Then as a coach, you can look at stuff in game, and you're not concerned about this synergy bullshit. You can focus on seeing what they did in game that's just not good. Like, okay, when did you engage, the lane management and all that stuff. But now if there's that question, right? Okay, the lane management isn't that good. Again, there's gonna be a reason, an excuse. Oh, it's because I was concerned about this. I was thinking about this. And as a coach, you can't do shit with that. Mm-hmm. Right? Because I did a bit of coaching as well back then when I was, I helped out with the coaching when I was a manager, right? Yeah, it's rough when that happens, because then like, it becomes like a pointing game. It becomes a blaming game. Mm-hmm. You tell the players, hey, your macro is shit, And they're like, no, it's not shit. It's because of this. And then like, it goes in a circle, right? Management points at the coach points at the players point at the management. And it's just a shit time for everyone involved. So again, I feel like whatever the reason, whatever the solution is, you have to first start with building some consistency there. Pick who you want to play with, right? Instead of letting your players download like 10% Brands, 10% Airline, 10% someone else, right? And then your players have this mixed perception. They're in the gold lane now. Let's say in the early game, they're used to Erlan and his early game style. If you're the jungler, I know Erlan likes laning aggressively. I can set up for a dive, right? And then you switch. Now his early game scuffed, because in his head it's like, I can be aggressive here. And then he rotates towards the gold lane. And it's Brands who wants to scale, who wants to take it slow. Yep. Right? And then you go into the late game where, let's say, Erlan's a bit more careful. Now Brands, right, being the late game risk taker he is, wants to take more risks. Now you're late to back him up because you're used to the more conservative Airline. You get what I mean? Yeah. Downloading partial amounts of like each player it's a surefire way to start like doing dumb shit in game, right? So again, cut that shit out, and then once you cut that shit out, then you can start really breaking down the issues. Because even this shit with Swalo now, there's so much speculation. Usually you'll be like, dang, he fucked up. But now, right, there is space, there is angles for like the players and the fans to start saying shit like, well, he messed up, but all this other shit that really shouldn't be in the picture at all. So before we even talk about Suelo, I feel like we should focus more on that, because I feel like that just kind of like ties off a lot of the loose ends before that. But yeah, that play definitely ended up being questionable. But now the problem is we can't really say for sure why. Is it actually Suelo's fault? Is it actually the team's fault? Did someone? I'm still curious to ask. Like, I don't think we've ever had confirmation on who was like the main shot caller, right? Because I think during mic checks we also hear them all still very vocal, and that's fine, right? But again, okay, did Suelo mess up? Or did someone say, yo, catch someone, we have to catch someone now? Because you can imagine if you're a player in a high-stakes match with all the pressure from being 7th, right, approaching the red zone, you hear a call like that, you see, who was that? You saw, who did he see? Was it the mid lane? You see Haskill, right? Vulnerable mid laner. You can understand why someone would be like, shit, catch him. Right? Pop the ulti, fuck it. So, yeah, that's my take on the whole thing.
Dude, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, we like that shit. We like that shit. We like that shit here in the Mirror Recap. We can be as honest as honest as we want to, right? Sometimes we get clipped, but it's okay because we don't really care. It's okay.
Get clipped?
It's just sometimes we do. Yeah. I actually never pay attention to any clips now, so I'm just like, oh shit, that was clipped. But yeah, back to the point, EVOS. I think you've said a lot of things that I wanted to say. Again, the shot calls off, the players. I guess one thing I'll have to add onto what Arashi and Realize have already said is, for me, I kind of already saw how weird Suelo played in the Classic Derby. Because in the keys to victory for this matchup, guys, I'll be brutally honest with you. For the keys to so our scriptwriter comes over to us and asks us to write some keys to victory sometimes to help weigh in. I wrote a lot for EVOS actually, but one point in particular. So I just give him points. He makes it cool and all. He transforms it to an actual Indonesian sentence, because I'm not that good in Indo. I just wrote down, Suelo is stupid. Like, Suelo bego. Not in a way where Suelo is stupid as in he's just fucking stupid player. No, but I put in like brackets. He doesn't think for himself in the Classic Derby match. If you replay the Classic Derby match, I forgot which game it was. It was a 2-0, so I think it was the game where he played Valentina. Just find it, game 1 or game 2. It was the game where he played Valentina. One of the initiations where they were actually doing well, he just jumped over to kill Dairen Badang. He threw his position on a Valentina to kill a Badang that was 1 HP, a Badang that was out of the team fight already. And we saw this so many times, back to back to back to back. And you can play the whole... This time, watch it with a neutral perspective. Don't just look at the gold lane, all right? All right, you EVOS fans who want to just blame one guy, look at it and see it again. Suelo has been making this kind of mistake for a while, since the Classic Derby. Now, for me, when I see a play like that, I know I'm uncomfortable in this environment situation. Or he just doesn't perform under pressure. It's one of those. Because it seems like he's just following orders. This isn't the military, brother. This is MLBB, where, yes, there's going to be one call, but all the micro stuff you do on yourself. You make the decision by yourself. When a guy says go in, the marksman doesn't go in alone, like bypassing the front line. He knows what to do by what go in means. You don't need to say, go in, you must flank, you must this, stay behind, calm down, everybody chill, flicker, blah. No, you just say go in, that's the big call, and then everybody needs to know what they want to do, what they need to do. Suelo, in a way, he had that in Rebellion. That's why I'm so confused. I was like, what's going on? How did he play so well on these stupid cheese picks to Rizla mid, make it work in Rebellion, with pretty smart individual plays? When they went in, it was never just Suelo following orders. It really feels like he would go in, he would wait for the cooldowns, he would wait for his own win con, and then he would walk back up. But now it really seems like he's just part of a system. The system is you follow whoever's making a call. You follow that call. If it works, amen. If it doesn't, fuck.
That could be because he's playing with like such big like names right now, right? With Key and Albert, dude. That could be the point. On top of that, I guess that's why it kind of makes sense for him to be playing like Tarizla and like Zask. Because I think I've been very vocal about this. Zask is just so safe, right? It's so like foolproof in a sense. Even when you mess up on Zask, you don't really mess up. When you die, you can still do damage. Like when you die, you still leave a Nightmare spawn and you still do damage. So I guess, you know, is that why he goes for the Zask, right? Because sometimes he's scared. He just YOLOs it, right? That could be the next point. But I feel like I agree with that. Because like even in the military, a good military doesn't operate that way. Yeah, you need you just tell them the big picture. The small details doesn't have to be communicated and microed like that. That's a hallmark of a bad military, dude.
Babysitter.
It's just a command structure that's too rigid. So again, I guess that ties back to the point on like who's the shot caller, and is the shot calling, you know, is it Iron Hand? Right? If someone says go in, is it just like actually just go in, no questions asked, or like that's something we have to kind of find out.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, that's the thing. That could be. I mean, this is just an assumption again, right? Is there a level of seniority between the players? Because coming into this season, I thought that there was nothing like that. It's everyone with their own system. Key, yes, he's an experienced player. He's a legend of BTR, ex-BTR, by the way. Albert, he's a legend of the game, ex-RRQ, legend of RRQ. But when they played with Natco, with everyone in the first few weeks, it looked like it was just a team that was there to play. You know, it didn't really look like, oh yeah, Albert's the main star, Key's the main star. Everybody was doing well. Erlan was doing well. Natco in mid was doing well. Reggie. It was an actual team.
Is it a pressure issue too, maybe?
Exactly. That's why it's like it could be pressure. It could be again uncomfortable in the environment, which I think there's seniority. That's like what we are assuming. It's either one of those, and the big problem for EVOS is it's happening at the end of the season. It's not happening at the start. If this shit happens at the start, it's more motivation. They're like, all right, we have a lot of issues. It's great that we can see these issues at the start of the season. The fact that it's week 7 means that now every issue that they'll have, it won't be motivation. It's even more stress. It's even more pressure. And it'll be even more frustrating as they get to the next few matches. Because at this point, they'll think, oh yeah, we want to fix things. But do we have time to fix things? Mm-hmm. If you don't have time, it'll be even worse, right? It'll be very, very bad.
Their matchups, the next match they're going to be playing,
Onic.
It doesn't do them any favors, man. It's rough.
Exactly. So I think we'll just move on to the next topic here, which is going to be RRQ.
Just additional point though, people keep talking about like, oh, EVOS can still go on a miracle run, you know? The reason why it was called a miracle run, because it happens, it's not supposed to happen, all right?
Yeah.
So if you need a miracle run like multiple times in a row to make it, that's an unrealistic expectation. Just saying, because I keep hearing like, they had a miracle run before though, it can still happen again. If it happens that frequently, it's not a miracle run. You guys are just like, they just operate differently then, somehow.
Now, if miracle runs happen almost every time, that means there's something wrong with the team.
Yeah,
no
you can't be hoping for a miracle every single time. And it was a miracle run for Liquid and EVOS, but even then, looking at it, it didn't happen in week 7. It happened in the week 2, week 3. They changed their roster, and it was an entire roster. It wasn't one member coming in and then another member coming in, and then them having no synergy. So I think it's already a different formula entirely. Yep. Let's go over to the next topic. Yo, what's that next to Realize? It's a beautiful laptop. Well, that's the Asus V16. Comes in with the Intel Core 5 processor and an RTX 3050, up to an RTX 4050 and an Intel Core 7 processor later on. You guys can get it right now. It is eSport ready with a 144Hz screen, military grade with full I/O ports as well. With an IPS screen, 16-inch, this bad boy is ready for you to game. And it doesn't look like a gaming computer. It's slick and it's cool. Go get yours today with the Asus Game Day. You guys can go and check it out right here. As you can see, if you get it now, you get a Steam wallet up to IDR 210,000 and a possible Genshin Impact mouse mat. Check it out from the 15th of April to the 30th of May, 2025. Which is going to be RRQ. Have they fixed their problem? Because I think it was with you guys as well, with these boys as well, that we spoke of RRQ's problem after Snapdragon, and that was the part of the podcast that was clipped, by the way. So shout out to the media and everyone for clipping. Thank you so much for clipping, and thank you for watching the show. But to go back to what we said, Sutsujin was the main problem for RRQ. I think we all agreed on that point because it was a hero pool problem. He does amazing on the Haya. He does amazing on the Joy. When he's on his signature picks, this guy is unstoppable. But on the Suyos and on the Fannies in Snapdragon, that was when Onyx Philippines were able to really control them, right? And again, it was the point we were making was it was up against the top teams. It was up against the elite, Onyx Philippines. Was it a problem against other teams? Yes, but not to that extent. Because to be able to punish such a small mistake, such a small problem, it requires an elite level team. And that's why Onyx Philippines were able to do it. And they were also gods on Suyo and Fanny. Are we seeing that now? Sutsujin has improved on that department. Has he improved on Suyo? Has he improved on Fanny? I think on the Fanny case, we say no because we haven't seen Fanny and it's always banned out by RRQ. So I think we just haven't seen that yet. But on the Suyo, has he improved? Or has he just not met the level of competition that we were criticizing him for, right? Because the whole point was it was up against Onyx Philippines. I don't think anyone is going to banter right now or is going to argue that RRQ is not the best team. They don't have all the best players in Indonesia because even in our pick for All-Star Indo, it was 4 RRQ members and then a different jungler. So that was also because we didn't pick Suzuki because of the Fanny issue. That's it. So no one's going to argue that they're not the best lineup. I think on paper, especially Edok, you fucking crazy mad lad.
Edok, man.
We'll get to Edok. Is RRQ's problem done? Have they solved it? Or is it just a case of they're back to Indo? I mean, they didn't lose a single match in Indo before SPS. This is just, it's just the level of competition again that hasn't really required Sutsujin to be exposed. Like the enemy team isn't able to exploit that.
I don't think it's done. I don't think it's done just yet. But we did see glimpses of amazing performances by Sutsujin, especially in the Suyo. On Sunday, the match against Geek Fam, they picked up the Suyo as well. It was a make-it staple pick, by the way. And he was stomping against Geek. I think it was game number 2 and 3 because number 1, Geek won and RRQ, well, they were looking clueless. But I don't think it's a problem yet because I feel like it's a small sample size. I think he needs more game time to showcase these type of heroes. And I do believe that somehow, I don't know, this is an assumption, by the way, it could fall under conspiracy theory, but I feel like Keskute is making Sutsujin play these type of heroes. If you take a look at the bans coming in, they even banned out the Joy, I feel like, against Geek Fam. I think it was game number 2 or 3. I couldn't really remember. But there was a specific ban pointed towards Sutsujin's heroes, which I do believe that it kind of makes Sutsujin steps out of his comfort zone to then explore, the Suyos, the Fannies not yet to be seen, but at least he is performing well in the Suyo, which I think Suyo right now is like, the poster boy for jungle. If the Joy is banned, Sasuke basically with the Susano skin and all that. But yeah, I think this weekend, at least in the Classic Derby, in the match against Geek Fam, he was able to demonstrate good gameplay when he was forced to his non-favorite picks. And I believe, I don't know, again, an assumption, but Keskute is trying to make him play these type of heroes, which I think is a very good idea because, again, number 1, they've qualified to playoffs. They're eyeing for top seed, upper brackets. There is time for you to experiment. So why not just make him play the Suyo, spam the Fannies towards him. But yeah, I think Sutsujin still proving his worth again in that jungle role.
So you're saying he intentionally bans Sutsujin's heroes?
Not really, but I feel like Keskute's kind of making him play these type of heroes.
I mean, there was I believe there was that one match where we were like, okay, they're gonna take Joy, and they didn't. I think.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not against that idea. I'm a big conspiracy theorist, if you want to call it that, myself. I think I talked to Mirko a lot about that. Mirko's the guy who goes like, dude, take the tinfoil hat off, bro. Like you're reading too much into it. But that's what I do, right? I look at what's on the surface and try and, look into it, whether or not there's something below. All right. I think it's a work in progress. I don't think it's fair to immediately say now, like, oh, Suchojin is okay now. I feel like that will be disrespectful to the team and everyone else as well. If that's all it takes, boom, done, dude, that's crazy, right? Like, we're really like taking all the players, like, we're kind of cheapening their value if you say it like that. So I think it's still a work in progress. I do feel though that I'm getting a hint of a point back on Keskute.
Yep.
I don't think he's only doing that. I feel like he's also trying to find ways to experiment with using, that weakness as a bit of a mind game. So he's trying to like get the opponents to respect a bit the Joy a bit more, the Haya a bit more, and then he tries to figure out, let's say, like what play with their expectations. Like, okay, with no Haya and Joy, what's gonna be picked up, and what counters that. So he's kind of like trying to read into that next level to try and kind of use that almost as like a feint, technically. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting from like the drafting phases we've been watching.
Yeah.
But again, those are all assumptions, all right? I think, and it's going to be really hard to prove, to find a confirmation, unless we want to ask Keskite himself. But I don't know. I don't talk to him as much. I don't feel comfortable talking too much about to the players or the coaches. So yeah, that's the way I'm seeing it. But definitely a work in progress. And I believe I agree for the Suyo, it's looking kind of better. But again, we haven't really seen him like push to the limit, and that's what we need to see, right? Because you can't like judge a player on like his best day, on his best circumstance. On our best days, on our best circumstance, we have great highlight moments too in Mobile Legends. But we ain't a pro player, right? So same thing for Suzuki, I think.
My Suyo is great, by the way.
Oh man.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
All the
For
time.
me, I think it's the case. It's the case. The point that I made out earlier. Said earlier. I think we just haven't seen that level of competition yet. We've seen glimpses of that level of competition in Indo, and obviously it's getting closer and closer in Indonesia. But the real threat to RRQ is international.
Yeah.
The reason we've been criticizing RRQ, talking about what their weaknesses are, etc., is because I think we all kind of know that there's already one team in MSC right now for Indo. Honestly, like being completely honest, the 2 games that they lost, they have improved and they have avenged those defeats. They lost against against best team in the world, BTR. The Onyx one they haven't avenged yet, but they already got one match against Onyx.
Best team in the world.
Again, I think that's very fixable. The match against Onyx. So yeah, I think for RRQ they are still they're still the best team in Indonesia right now, especially because Edok and Dyron. So shout outs to Edok and Dyron again for this fucking billionth time. Number 1 in the MVP standings as a roamer.
Imagine.
The only roamer in the top 10.
Moses.
By the way. This guy is Moses. We were like, this guy splits the entire team. He splits the trajectory of the game.
It's
He
because
destroys.
of the poster. It
He's a
says-
game changer.
Because it says, Edok, the middle part roamer.
The middle part roamer, because he had middle part hair. So we started calling him like, oh, what is his moniker? Moses.
Moses.
Edok, Moses, Hoshimanjaro.
Hoshimanjaro.
But yeah, shout out to Edok again. Ridiculous roamer when he gets his picks. It's just, I think we'll see more of RRQ going up against the respect bans later on, like the initiator picks when it's taken away from Dyron from Edok as well. I don't think we see that a lot now in the regular season. That's more of a playoff where it's gonna be different. Again, there'll be more respect bans over just meta bans later on in the playoffs. So let's move on to the next topic here, which is going to be quite interesting, my boys. It'll be the format for MSC and our thoughts for MSC 2025, baby.
MSC.
This is I like it. I like the new format. I don't know if you guys can agree with me about the new format, but I'll read it out for you guys. Here we go. So, firstly, $3 million prize pool, boys.
That's
all
a
right.
lot.
So it's gonna be $3 million. The event will be on the 23rd of July all the way to the 2nd of August. That'll be the grand finals.
Full week.
Participants will be 16 teams and is divided as so. MPL Cambodia will get 1 slot. Turkey will get 1 slot. MENA will get 1 slot. Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia all get 2 slots. MCCM, which is EECA, gets 1. LATAM gets 1. Myanmar gets 1. Singapore gets 1. We have MSC China 1. We also have NACT. Congratulations to BTK, by the way, who've already qualified. And congratulations to CFU for already qualifying as well. MSC wildcard, there will be 1 slot from wildcard as well. So we'll have wildcard. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The tournament format. 2 groups of 8 teams. Double elimination.
There you go.
Top 4 per group to knockout. And then it'll be a single elimination bracket in the knockout. Bracket knockout. 8 teams, single elimination. But this, 2 groups of 8 and double elimination in the groups. So 8 teams will go double elimination to qualify. Interesting. So we've already gone through Swiss. We've gone through normal groups, yes, a couple of times. We've gone through GSL format with Snapdragon. And now we're finally, for the first time, seeing double elimination format in the group stage.
Double elimination is...
Double elimination is upper, lower bracket. So I believe there will be a play-in stage where they draw teams and then they'll go up against each other. Whoever wins goes upper. Whoever goes and loses goes lower. That's what I'm getting at from, the format announcement. What do we think about this format? So we'll have both double and single elim. For me, I'm a big fan of single elims. I think for big tournaments, single elim is always the best. I am a football fan. We know they don't have double elims there. I am also normally in esports, the ones that I watch, always single elim.
Worlds.
Yeah. So I have always been a fan of single more than double. I believe in the biggest stage of them all, you should only have 1 shot.
Oh, sheesh.
I feel there's an argument for both. I think in a way it's kind of the benefit I feel like from having double elim is that you can kind of see the adaptation is one thing, but you can also, these are a lot of teams from different regions, right? So you can have more chances to see the different matchups technically, and you can get to see your guys, from your own country in action a bit more. And you can also, if you're curious about that region, you're gonna have more chances to actually take some interest and see some of the some more moments from these regions that we don't really get to see as often, right? So I think that's a plus point.
Yep.
On the negative side, though, I feel like again with double LM, there's gonna be for some teams there's gonna be rationing. Like, okay, we can afford to kind of lose one. We can afford to kind of take this one easy, be serious on this one. And it takes away from the overall, even before those factors, it just takes away from the overall, like, intensity. Like, the stakes are just, like, lower when you have, like, double LM, right? Obviously, when you have 1 life only, that 1 life becomes extra important. So, in that sense, I think that's, like, the negative of it. If I had to pick, I think I would still go with the single as well. But I can understand... from the plus points there, why they would kind of want that, give more exposure to like the smaller regions. I feel like it's not an awful idea by all means.
Yeah, I've been exposed by to these brackets. For the group stage upper lower, I've casted a few other titles that impose this. Bracket.
So which one do you like better?
To be honest, I like group stage upper lower.
Group stage?
Yeah, group stage upper lower.
Okay. You like the double elimination?
Yeah, double elimination. Okay. Because but in that title that I cast, usually you have 4 groups.
Okay.
4 groups of 4, but this is 2 groups of 8, which is a lot. But again, upper lower, number 1, it kind of encourages teams to perform at their best, but they have second chances on towards the lower. Mm-hmm. Because in group you can still slack off. You can still lose, you can still learn from your mistakes, and you could re-strategize. Yeah. But when it comes to the playoffs, this is where the real things get interesting because there is no way, number 1, you're gonna hide your strategies. You're gonna you're gonna all in everything you know and throw it onto the enemy team later on in the playoffs. And it encourages you to not play recklessly because if you lose, you're out. Basically, like Champions League in football, World Cup in football as well. When you lose, you lose. So, but I'm afraid that it'll kind of induce passive plays from teams that they might just become much more scared to take risks. Maybe you won't see flashy plays, last minute saves, because they know all they need to play is for the objective. They need to play for the base. They need to play for the crystal to break, because they know if they take one step wrong and they want to take the risk, that is not as
You know what? I actually think it's the opposite.
Rewarding.
I actually think with single LMs,
really?
it forces players to make those moments happen, because when you're losing, let's say, when you're winning, yes, you'll be like, all right, we only want to go objectives, but when you're losing,
that's
it's
true.
now or never, baby. I gotta make that big play that'll send my team to the finals,
to put my name in the history of MLBB.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
when you're winning, you're gonna play super safe, super conservative, but when you're losing,
boom,
this is where you're gonna take the risks that no one would ever think of.
Yep.
So I think it's a good adaptation. A future thought though, will this format be implemented to M Series as well?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't think so. I think we have a Swiss stage already, and I don't think M Series will ever use single LMs for now. It looks like it's just going to be double LMs. It's a format that's worked. That's why I like MSC. We have different formats, because if everyone uses the same format, I think it'll get stale. So having MSC use a different format, having M Series use a different format is great. I like it. Yeah. I'm a fan of it. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the new MSC format? Do you think they should just go and copy M6 and go Swiss stage and double LMs for knockouts? What do you think? Because now we're getting both, right? We're getting both. For all of you guys who are complaining about the single LM of MSC, now you could be like, at least we have group stage.
By this logic, Liverpool is in the lower brackets.
No. By this logic, we've won the event.
Yo.
We were regular season champions, bro, in UCL, bro.
That's true. That's true.
All right. Let's move on now to MPL Malaysia. Now, MPL Malaysia, we're just going to be talking about it. We're just going to talk about like a few points about it. So, number one is Indonesian imports, bro, in Malaysia. We have spoken about Filipino imports, how they've been very good for Indonesia, how they've really helped us create a more competitive scene in Indonesia. Now let's talk about Indonesian imports in Malaysia, because holy moly, Hazel is so darn good, bro. Like, hey, I just want to say, Hazel fan, day one Hazel fans, day one Hazel fans, day one Hazel fans. Hazel's so good.
Hazel.
Aero is looking so much better with Hazel. That might be biased because Hazel's my boy. But to talk about it even more, we got 3 imports on one team that is currently undefeated in MPL Malaysia, tied in points with SRG. 3 total. One of them, our boy Erpang, head coach, was the coach of Geek Fam when they made it to season 12, grand finals to M5. Veldora and Van Strong. EVOS rejects, EVOS failures, right? The 2 EVOS rejects, the 2 EVOS failures that have never really performed well on EVOS, but now are finding a lot of success on another team. I think MPL Malaysia is such a good MPL to really show the best of players that look washed. Seriously. Like Cram, Innocent. Before they joined SRG, even when they joined SRG, the Filipinos, a lot of the Malaysians as well, most people in the world, they said, dude, these 2 never even made it to playoffs in Philippines. Like, they are garbage. Why the fuck would you buy and import these players? What a waste of money. What happened next? They won MSC with 2 rejects, with 2 failures, with 2 players who the whole world believed to be washed. The whole world believed to be, they're going to a retirement league. Now it has happened again with 2 EVOS rejects. Veldora, Van Strong, and also their coach. Because Arcadia was an RRQ reject. Everybody was saying, RRQ, Arcadia, so bad, blah, blah, blah. Goes in and wins MSC, goes on an undefeated streak. So, is this going to be another SRG story? Is this going to be another zero to hero story for Veldora, Van Strong, and Erpang? Or is this a fluke?
I don't know.
Because they're going to be in SRG this week, by the way. I'll try my best to watch it. Obviously, I have MPL ID, but I'm going to do a match analysis on it when it happens. Next week, I'll upload it because...
upload it tomorrow?
Yes. But yeah, thoughts on Indonesian imports doing really well in Malaysia, and the homeboys, how they're doing. Like, what do you think about them? 6-0.
Point number 1, Veldora, Van Strong, these players are bang average in MPL ID. I remember Veldora moving to Geek Fam to try to resurrect his career, but it was pretty hard for him as well. I think it's because in MPL MY, I'm not trying to say that this region is bad or is just power cap, but I think it's below the competition we have in MPL ID and MPL PH as well. which in turn I think gives confidence more to the Indonesian players because they're imports. They're imports. They're here to make waves. They're here to make an impact. So they have that freedom without having to face severe scrutiny and criticism from the Indonesian fans because we know how crazy the EVOS fans might bash Veldora for a misplay or the Kingdoms or the Sonics even any Indonesian fans. And I think they're in MPLMY to just vibe and have fun, and this is what instills them to play very, very well. And I feel like the welcoming atmosphere that MPLMY has also kind of unlocks those potentials inside of the Indonesian players. So I'm happy if they're happy. I'm happy that they're making waves in MPLMY, and this also helps lift MPLMY even more because now they have Indonesian imports, they have Filipino imports, a lot of type of imports in MPLMY. So yeah, a lot of good things happening. As for Homeboys in general, with Erpang as well, which is one of the best coaches, I feel like, underrated coach, to be honest, in MPL ID back when he brought Geek Fam to M5, excuse me. It's they're still unbeaten, but yeah, the game against SRG will be a true test, and of course, international wise, I feel like they need to be battle tested for that. Because yeah, everyone was doubting SRG, but when they made it to internationals, they were able to cement their legacy in MSC. So Homeboys will just have to see how they perform versus SRG, of course, the Giants of Malaysia, and an MSC later on if they make it to MSC.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that because the go-to like movie story is that a player gets put under so much pressure, and he grows past it and he withstands everything and becomes a champion. And that's cool. But not everyone is built to handle pressure, by all means. I myself, I don't like having a lot of pressure. That's something I'm very like vocal about. I don't like being like having too many expectations, too many deadlines, too many, must-dos and all that. Yeah, I don't know. It puts me in a weird mood. Like I feel like I'm forced to do it. Even when I like doing it. Like I like analyzing games to begin with. So when I work, it doesn't feel like work. But then when you put in, hey, by the way, you better be doing this. You better be doing that. If you don't do this, all these lines, these molds, right? It gets kind of stifling for me in particular. So I do agree. Maybe going over to Malaysia allows them to, escape from the initial area, the initial place where they were facing a lot of that pressure.
Hot zone.
Because again, even if it's similar, right? The fact that you're starting afresh, I think we've all seen what do you call it in these parts? In anime and stuff, it's always like the rebranding type of deal. Like after a long holiday. Yeah, it's like no. It's like when they come in like after a long holiday and they're like a whole different person. He's a nerd, right? And then you see him after a long vacation and he's jacked and like, what happened to you? Oh, I wanted to reinvent myself and I had time to do so. Away from all the people, right? And all the people who knows me and all that. Mm-hmm. So there's that effect, like the start afresh, start all over from the beginning type deal effect. There's also the fact that like the environment is a lot more welcoming, it's a lot more open. I agree with you because we all know Malaysia gets wild. Yeah. Right, and they're allowed to, and we are very jealous of that. Don't make no mistake. We are envious whenever we see like, your teams are talking trash, taunting.
Yeah,
you're allowed to be loud. You're allowed to be quote unquote rude. We love that shit, bro. We wish we can see more of it, but so far that hasn't been the case. And with that kind of like freedom, right? Then there's less of the players also feel less pressure to like make mistakes and all that. Because that's a big critique we have for a lot of players in Indo.
Hoki bude,
right? Oh, how did you win? Coach told me to do this. I did it. We won. Oh, God planned it for me today. God did, Yeah, so that can allow them to be more experimental. If they're usually a bit more pressured, so they don't want to do anything too risky, now they're willing to try outplays. They're willing to try and taunt, and if they mess up, they can laugh about it, no problem. I feel like it's great. It's good for me to see our players, take such a leap of faith, move over to somewhere new, start afresh, and be doing good. I'm really happy for them, by all means. I was actually wondering if like if there's a financial tie-in to that point as well. Like, oh, now they have like Malaysian income. You know, they live in Malaysia. It's a whole. Come on, we've been to Malaysia, right? You Malaysia's got it nice, man. I mean, you developed. Let's be real here. Yeah, y'all developed. Y'all developed, bro. We were there, right? And we're like, dang, we got beat.
You developed.
As a country, development-wise, we got beat, bro. All right? So I'm wondering if that also ties into it. I'm not sure if I should be bringing that up, but I figured why not. But yeah, so those are all the factors that might allow them, might cause this effect in particular. But yeah, I do feel like it's a good thing by all means. And if in the end, you know, it helps Malaysia grow as well, and it's a win-win and everything, good. I think we should see more of it, right? Why not?
Yeah.
I think I had some other point lined up, but you know, I went all in that one, so I don't remember the rest. All good.
That's true though. We hold Malaysia very dearly in our hearts because of it's a great time every single time we visit Malaysia.
I love KL.
It's always a good time.
Nasi Kandar.
Shout out to the Malaysian casters for making it even better of a time. The only thing that isn't as good in Malaysia, compared to Indo, is your Grab drivers. You have too little of them. We can get a Grab driver at any time.
Is
like when I try to order McDonald's at 4 a.m., it never comes, or it's just there and it gets canceled. I'm like, fuck, I can't eat. But here it's like, dude, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and 24/7, we got a billion people waiting.
You know why? Poverty, bro.
Yo,
that's why sometimes in life, sometimes W poverty. Sometimes just because we gotta get and population, to be fair.
Yes. Population
comes hand in hand. I think more you have, the more
W food panda.
Yeah, we're getting social commentary. We're talking about social stuff now. But yeah, no, I agree. Back to the point now. Shout out to the Malaysians, but back to the point of MPL Malaysia being, again, great environment. Yeah, they're not gonna get shat on. There's not gonna be a montage scapegoating this one guy after having a bad Moscow performance, telling him to play, and then them getting a veteran that hasn't played a whole year to come back. Like, that doesn't happen in Malaysia because they're like, you know what? We actually have an environment where, yes, there's gonna be hate, but most of them are chill with it,
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's also because Malaysia's viewership is not as big, so they don't have as many hardcore fans as Indonesia. But yeah,
because even with the fan base, by the way, I mean, I remember I was there, right, during M series, and when SRG were against RRQ, that was great, dude, because there was passion on both sides, and when RRQ won, me included, I was like, what's up, bro? What's up? And then once SRG won, we had a guy start crawling over from like the SRG side. I'm like, what the fuck is this? This shit's crazy. And it's a great time, dude. I loved it. We lost, right? That it hurts. But that was a great time, dude. I enjoyed my time there. It was amazing.
Yeah. So SRG versus Homeboys. What are your predictions, my boys? Are you guys gonna go Team Homeboys or are you guys gonna Team SRG?
It's time for Homeboys to make change.
Okay, 1 vote for Homeboys.
I want to see a new face in MPL MY. Why not?
I mean, I had so many comments saying Arashi is so pro Indo, it's disgusting. Homeboys, dude, fuck it. You can't beat them, just join them. Just follow the allocations. Homeboys, bro. New face, new name. It's a different time.
I'm a Sakai's fan though.
Yeah, I'm more of a Stormy fan. Stormy and Yums. Yums is my goat. Yums is my Malaysian goat. Actually, no, it's Chico. I'm sorry, Yums, but you are my Malaysian Rome goat. This is really tough. I'm wearing an SRG jersey, so I feel like Homeboys needs to give me a jersey before I predict them. But because Homeboys gave me a jersey, I think SRG will take it.
Hey.
I think SRG because because SRG gave me a jersey. Homeboys, that's what I meant. Yeah. Nah. Okay. No. Seriously though. Claudia, who's gonna win? Homeboys or SRG?
Meow.
Can't see her, but Claudia, who do you think's gonna win? Claudia, come here. Who's gonna win?
He talks less.
Yeah, just for the change, I hope Homeboys.
Yeah.
I think SRG will get it though. prediction wise, I think I'm gonna go SRG. But who I want to win, Homeboys. I want Homeboys to win. I want Veldora and Van Strong to prove that it is the toxic Indonesian environment sometimes that gets to these players. We have a lot of diamonds in the rough in Indonesia. Just never seen them do really well because they never get a chance to, because they get swapped in when they have one bad match. I'm talking about you. You know who I'm talking about.
I know.
We all know who I'm talking about here. Erlan, get a better team that actually appreciates you. Maybe you should go to Malaysia. maybe you can prove all the haters wrong in Malaysia. But yeah,
For Homeboys, I also want them to win for Daddyhood.
for Daddyhood?
Yeah.
Yes, because
This guy is so passionate.
what the fuck? How did the entire team leave Homeboys last season? I still don't know the drama between the teams. I don't know how 4 dudes just left Homeboys just like that to move to Vamos. But I'll be honest with you, I was pretty happy when I saw Homeboys win against Vamos. I was like, oh, that scratched an itch somewhere deep in me. Well, I'm like, oh my god, that has to be satisfying. Imagine being Daddyhood, like, oh my god, you thought we would be shit by leaving us, and now we just shat on you. Oh man.
For Daddyhood's sake.
At this point, best player might not even be able to get his revenge. Like, best player wanted his revenge after BTK lost to Vamos. He said like, oh, I'm gonna smack Vamos. Vamos might not even make it to MSC. But now, final point in MPL Malaysia, the MPL Malaysia discussion. Do you think Malaysia deserves 2 slots? Because a lot of people in the comment section I have seen in the mirror recap topic voting, they've been saying like, oh, do you think Malaysia really deserves it? Like, they have only performed well in MSC, and only one of their teams usually do well. Like SRG did well, top 3, MSC as well, but their other representative doesn't do too well, blah blah. So I'll start. I'll say yes, they deserve it. I'll just say, yeah, they do. They won MSC. Their second team that went through wildcard won wildcard and got the top 8 at MSC. I think that alone should already kind of guarantee them 2 slots in MSC, right? And M6, SRG were 3rd. They're not champions. That's a good placement, though. I think a lot of people are thinking of only champions now. Finishing top 5 is already really, really good. Vamos did well by making it to knockouts. We didn't even see Aurora make it to knockouts. We didn't even see the second PH team make it to knockouts. So I don't like it when we are like basing it off of the tournament, saying like, oh yeah, blah blah. Because if we are actually basing it off the tournaments we've had, M6 previously, the major tournament, then it will be the Philippines who only gets 1 slot. If we're talking about that, so I think both teams deserve the two slots. MY deserves 2 slots. 2 PH slots, obviously. Maybe PH actually deserves more because they have consistently done better than all the other
5
regions.
slots.
Maybe 3, right, for being a champion. But ID also deserves 2 slots because we did pretty well as well. I think it was Liquid 2nd and then RRQ 6th. Was it RRQ 6th? The 7th? 7th, 6th? I forgot. They lost to SRG. They were there though. Yeah. What about you guys? Do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you think MY deserves 2 slots, or are you part of the they didn't even qualify in Snapdragons in Mobile Master? They didn't even make it,
I do agree. They deserve 2 slots. No further elaboration because you said everything that I wanted to say. Their wildcard team performed very well. SRG winning MSC was historic. And I think it's a leap of faith for MPL MY for the future internationals to come.
Yeah, I feel like off the bat, immediately it's like, yeah, of course, because they're bigger regions. They're also passionate. They have done pretty well. I mean, they're always a player, even though you can say like, oh, they've never really always consistently been like top 1 or 2. Well, yeah, but like Malaysia has always had a reputation, and I feel like that counts for something. We kept saying whenever there's like internationals, right, and Malaysia's in the picture, every time it's like, dude, we're waiting for that Malaysian style. Fine, okay, it doesn't get wins, right? But that doesn't mean that it's not worth anything. You get what I mean? Now, on that note, I don't really know if there's ever been like an official statement on what makes a country get 1 or 2 slots. Now, I feel if there was, right, then we can at least objectively look at it that way. But subjectively, for me personally, like, fuck yeah, 2 slots, right? And if they get wrecked immediately, so be it, right? At least give them a chance to do so, right?
We'll learn.
As far as I know, it's based on like how established the community and competitive. Well, yeah, I mean, for the longest part, it was Indo, Philippines, Malaysia, right? That was like the triangle for the longest time. So I feel like they haven't really like fallen off by all means. Like you can't really say like Malaysia is just like not good at all, right? You can say that their region's better. So in that sense, I feel like because they've always been around too, like they deserve like the second slot, in my opinion. Yeah. Like unless you want to make like objectively tell us like, oh, because of these rules and there's this formula, this calculation, because we follow this system, okay, PH gets 2, Indo gets 2, whatever gets 2, but Malaysia can't. Then we can discuss the system itself. But for now, I don't think there is such a thing. So I think they should.
I think if another region goes back to back top 4, we should give them another slot too. So I'm looking at MCC right now. I'm looking at Spirit region. I'm looking at EECA. When they were able to make it to top 4, M6, they were really good. M5, they made it to top 4 as well. MSC they didn't, but that's two world championships back to back. If they do well here in MSC again, I think it's fair to give them a shot at M7. Like M7, give them 2 slots too. I'd take a slot away from a less competitive region and give it over to Spirit, if I could. Because sorry, not Spirit, to ECA. I keep on because right now again, Spirit are number 2 in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not number 1. So there's genuine competition and it's looking really good. They're getting better and better as we get through a few more of these MCCs. So there you go. I really hope it's really based on competition because at the end of the day, yes, these bigger regions like ID, MY, Philippines will get 2 slots because even if they don't have the competition, let's say they get shattered, they get smacked, they get schmirkadurked in the first round, they still have a massive following, right? So there's a reason. But for the other regions like MCC who don't have a massive following, if they are able to compete, I think they also deserve it. Yeah.
So it also like boosts like the scene over there too, right? Why not? Why not?
But that's it. Do you guys have any last thoughts, final thoughts to say to the people back at home?
When will DJY play?
Dude, DJY.
Imagine if he makes MSC. Oh. DJY Fanny against Fabian Fanny. Oh my god.
Wow, DJY, you're not gonna make it, brother. Not in the bench. Not by being on the bench. DJY, I'll just say this, okay? This is also part of the MPLMY discussion. DJY, just play. It's not like your team are winning anyways. What the fuck? Come on, dude. What's this? How the fuck you have 0 wins, bro? There's one thing going 0-16 in ID, man. There's another going 0 wins in MY. All right? DJY.
Navi DJY?
Bro, let's fucking play, man. Like, it's a fun team at this point, bro.
Imagine if DJY gets imported to Indo, dude. That would be such a like big happening for no reason. Like, oh.
Dude, you deserve a spot in Navi.
You do.
You deserve a spot in Navi.
Washipal who? Ether who?
Oh my god, that would be funny as hell, but I don't think it'll happen. Oh man. No, DJY, bro, just play, man. Come
Please,
on.
DJY.
They have a match against SRG, so DJY, if you don't play against SRG, because there ain't no way your team winning that anyways, so just fucking for fun it, man.
Clip it, DJY, make it happen.
DJY, go up against SRG, try to beat them because your team ain't gonna do it, bro. All right. Any final thoughts aside from that?
No.
All right. Okay, if you guys want to follow Arashi and Realize, their socials will be in the description down below. Go and check them out. Or they're on Instagram. He has a podcast and stuff, and he does Valo content on his channel. So go ahead and check out the YouTube channel at Realize. Arashi isn't on YouTube yet. He is on YouTube, but he hasn't uploaded. But be on the lookout for that. With that, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section about every single one of the topics. Do you enjoy what we said? Do you enjoy us bullying DJY? Because if you do, like the video. If you don't, dislike DJY's video. Don't dislike mine, man, please. See ya.